What's going on, guys? Sinister here, back with another Smite video, and we are doing the patch notes for 3.23, otherwise known as a Wings of Victory. Big patch, huge patch. As we're winding down Season 3, there's so much stuff in the... Well, there's not like a lot of updates in this patch, but there's very important updates that could change the SPL, and there's also, you know, a lot of aesthetic updates, because, you know, as the Odyssey is closing. So, first we're going to get into it, you know, by the title, or you've heard about it, the new god, well, new goddess, spelled like Nike, but I think it's pronounced Nike or Neek, something like that. She is the goddess of victory. Very, very, very cool god. She's basically like, if you want to just imagine like a paladin type fighter. She's a warrior. She's like in between Bellona and Athena. She's like the neutral, as they explained. She's really, really cool. I know there's not a lot to her lore, but I know it has something to do with Zeus as well and Athena, I think. But anyway, we're going to get into her passive. It's called To Victory. It's kind of like a minigame throughout your match, and it has to do with all your teammates and you as its team goals. You have 3 goals you can achieve to increase strength. Upon completing a goal, Nike's team gains a laurel, and you get this little crown every time you get it above your head. It's like a little halo, and the entire team gets one. It increases your power by 8%, 10%, and 12%, you know, each objective you complete, and increases your movement speed by 3%, 5%, and 7% for each objective you complete. So, crazy passive to help your entire team. Imagine have like a Mercury on your team. Like, oh, that'd be crazy. But her first goal is kill 10 gods as a team. That's it. All these are team. Second is 200 minions as a team. And 3 is 2 allies are level 20. So, the third one, to get that extra oomph, you have to get to level 20. You got to get to endgame. So, her passive doesn't kick in until like mid to late game, but once that comes on, those power spikes and those speed buffs, they're going to be really key. Her first ability is a lane clear. It is called Rend. She slams the ground twice, and she sends out like these pulse things. It's big enough to clear the wave that damages. It does 50, 85, 120, 155, and 190. So it scales up pretty nice with 50% scaling in physical power. It hits them twice. It sends out 2 pulses, like I said. If it hits the god, the target loses protections. Now, if it hits the god twice, so you can't hit like a Chiron and then a Mercury, and the Mercury gets protection shred. No, you have to hit the Mercury, then the Mercury twice again, and it shreds their protections by 4, 8, 12, 16, and 20, depending on what level Rend is, for 5 seconds. So that's really good. Now, her second ability is a buff to all of her abilities. It's called Plan of Action. It's just an insta-cast, and your next ability does additional effects. So, along with that, it also grants you health per 5, scaling from 10, 15, 20, 25, and 30. And your next ability gains bonus damage, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, and a special effect, like I mentioned. Now, on Rend, the effect Plan of Action is in effect. So you hit your 2, and then you hit your 1. The extra effect that it's going to do is going to send out a 3rd pulse. Now, if you hit all 3 pulses, it's going to also disarm the target. So you pop your 2, you hit your 1, you clear the lane, whatever. You hit your enemy solo laner all 3 times. You're going to not only get rid of the protections for hitting them twice, you're going to disarm them for hitting your 3, and it's going to deal additional damage as well because Plan of Action is on. Plan of Action does have a long cooldown though, scaling from 18 all the way down to 14, but it's pretty mana efficient, scaling from 30 to 50, so that's going to be something that you want to take in consideration on when to use it. Third ability is Valiant Leap. It's basically, think of Anher's Leap. She jumps high into the ground because she has these wings. She's very angelic-like. Jumps high into the ground and then lands on a target, or wherever she's landing. And when she lands, if there's enemies nearby, it knocks them up like Anher's. But unlike Anher's, how it kind of knocks them back in different directions, this one knocks them straight up in the air. So it can set up a lot of combos with that. A Wheelix, an Erlang Shen Pen on the ground, you know, stuff like that. So that's very handy. It also does damage of 65, 115, 165, 215, and 265, with also 60% physical power. So also mana efficient, scaling from 55 to 75, so not bad, but it does have a flat 18-second cooldown. Her ultimate, very, very, very useful. Sentinel of Zeus. She transforms into an armored version of herself, halo wings, you know, her halo and these bright wings, all that, and it sends out a shockwave of damage. It's it's a big area. It's a very big area. It's bigger than Hades, probably about the size of Ares chains, and sends out an instant shockwave, dealing 100, 165, 230, 295, and 360 damage depending on the level, plus 80% of your physical power, and it slows the enemies around her by 30%. Now, that's not it. While she's in this form, she gains 40% of her max health as a shield. That's crazy. That is ridiculous. Now, if Plan of Action is on her, so you hit your 2 and then you pop your ult, you're going to gain 60% of your max health as a shield, and it applies a 60% slow to enemies that are hit by the shockwave. So that is crazy. You can jump into the fight, hit your 2, jump in, or can you do that? No. You're going to have to. If you really want to get the full effect, you can jump in, then hit your 2, and then pop your ult. So, yeah, that is going to be handy. You can just sit there and tank, because you're going to have practically all your health. If you have a Geb shield on you, oh my gosh. And I forgot to mention, if Plan of Action is on and you hit Valiant Leap, you just jump much faster. You hit the ground faster, it's just a faster jump. So there is that. She also has a recolor, which is your armor's just green. I don't really care for it. She's brunette with brown wings as well. So, something there. Now, the God skins. Alright, we have Chilling Grasp Opwash. He's very cool. I really thought this was going to be a stupid skin, but it's awesome. The link to the patch notes will be in the description, so you can click on them and look at the card art yourself, listen to the voice packs, and get a good idea of what they're going to be. They should also be in the thumbnail if you want a glimpse of them. So, Chilling Grasp Opwash. I'll play a sample of that. I don't know how loud it'll be.
Show them the meaning of fear. We will show them the meaning of winter.
That was really loud. I apologize for that. But, yeah, kind of like just an icy dead man, and I don't know. It's just super cool. Jurassic Camazotz, what do you expect? He's like a pterodactyl. He's bright yellow. Got cool effects on his abilities, but I'm not crazy about the skin. There is no voice pack to it, though. They are working on that to implement it. And Demonic Pact Anubis. This is the big one. It's here. There's 4 unique models, 4 unique sets of FX, so his voice and his VGS things all changed for every form. A custom recall, so you get a recall skin thing with that. Custom music pack with it as well. And a custom emote that is only for Anubis, I believe, and it changes with every rank. So he starts off as like a demonic cult leader. You know, he's got the robe, he looks like a druid. And then his next form, once you hit level 5, he kind of, his horns pop through, he's more ragged, the robe is kind of, you know, falling off. Level 15, or is it level 15? Level 10, you finally start showing your true form, and then level 15, you are this humongous demonic satanic creature, and the effects are just amazing. You guys gotta go look at it. Go look at High Res's channel, and they should have it on there, or their Twitch stream, or go look up Weekend or Incon or somebody who covered it, because this skin is crazy. I wasn't that high on it when I heard it, but it's seriously amazing. It's crazy. It's really cool. The effects, the ult, the ground, it's a good skin. And as an Anubis player, I'm really glad they picked him. Bacchus also has his mastery skins updated as well. And we also have the Shock Announcer Pack that'll also be in the Odyssey, so that's really cool. A lot of people are looking forward to that. Item changes. Celestial Legion Helm, we've seen a lot of play lately. It's kind of coming to the meta, especially in the SPL for mid laners, getting it like first item even before you complete boots, or at least tier 1 of that to start off with. It is going to decrease the physical protection that it gives you, going from 90 to 80, and it's going to increase in cost from 2300 to 2400. So this isn't going to be an item you're going to want to rush anymore. It's not going to give you the same benefits. Still good, but just trying to take it out of, like, especially SPL and like ranked, you know, the real meta. Hydra Star and Hydra's Lament, same issues with that. All it's going to do, Hydra Star, which I believe is the tier 2 version of it, reduces the cooldown it gives you from 10% to 5%, and Hydra's Lament reduces the cooldown it gives you from 15% to 10%. So it was just giving people too much cooldown. You could buy that in Jotun's Wrath and have almost full, and you wouldn't need any defense. So now, if you want full or close to full, it's going to force you to get into defense. It's not going to be the best, but it's still good. Still a 10% cooldown. You can get 30% pairing it with Jotun's Wrath. Still a good item, just not as powerful. Obsidian Shard also gets a nerf. They wanted more people to use Spear the Magnus for people who can benefit from it, like Agni, with his passive and stuff like that. So all Obsidian Shard is going to do is reduce its power from 70 to 60. You know, forcing you to really, if you're a god that can benefit from Spear the Magnus or something like that, to get another pen item and not just you know, every mage build automatically gets Obsidian Shard like 3rd item. And the god changes. Erlang gets a pretty big nerf. It's going to force him to be more careful with how often he aggresses and goes in and wants to commit to a kill. His spot weakness no longer ignores basic movement penalties, so it no longer gives you Fatalis. However, if you use your Mink form, that will ignore basic movement penalties. So the Mink still gives you attack speed boost. What they did is they took the Fatalis effect from the 1 and put it on your Mink. So you can't just go in and knock up and then pin them and have Fatalis because your 1's active. You have to use the Mink as the aggressor. So it's going to limit how often that is going to be used and how aggressive it's going to be used. And it also reduces the Turtle Shield and Mink attack speed buff from 6 seconds to 5 seconds because you have the 5-second Fatalis effect on that. So huge nerf for Erlang. Big buff for Hades. His blight duration is increased from 5 seconds to 8 seconds, and it no longer knocks back minions on his Shroud of Darkness. And Pillar of Agony also gets a protection buff, scaling from 40 to 80. It is now 60 to 80, so a lot of once he hits that alt level 5, he can go in. Jingwei gets sort of a nerf. Her explosive bolts no longer crit at level 1. You have to get at least level 2, so that's going to eliminate her early game boxing to poke him out. And it's not going to make her late game crits as often. It used to be 5 to 25, it is now 0 to 20. And her explosive bolts, so that's a error right there. Her 3, the cooldown is reduced. It used to be 20 to 12, it is now 20 to 16, and I apologize if you heard my phone go off. So can't escape as much as Jingwei. Khepri, they're just redoing a fix that they did back in the day. Now that, you know, Fafnir's in the meta, Terra's in the meta, all these new Guardians are coming out and they're good. Khepri's going back to the way it used to be. His health now goes from 460 at base to 490 again. Plus he gets his shield from his passive. So, could see Khepri back in the meta. Maybe. Nox. Fixing her passive, the Flame of Night. The candles will now only blow out when they are done by an enemy god. So minions can no longer take away one of your candles. Osiris. His Fragmented now provides Osiris with 1% magical damage mitigation per stack. So, now he's going to be more tanky against magical gods as well. Terra's Blessing, a nerf on her ult. It used to scale down from 110 to 90 on the cooldown. It is now 110 at all ranks, forcing you to be more careful with that. Thoth, getting a big buff. His Hieroglyphic Assault, it increases the projectile speed by 20%. So, you put your... it's going to come out a lot faster, allowing you to secure a hit on a god or get the minion wave out fast so you can get out. His Invade and Punish increases its radius from 3 to 4 seconds. 3 to 4 seconds. I think they mean 3 to 4 units, but yeah. Increases the radius on it. And Glyph of Pain reduces its mana cost from 60 at all ranks. It now starts at 25, scaling up to 45. So you can put down your 3 and then your lane clear, or your 2. I forget which one it is. Put down the glyph and then lane clear. It's not going to be as mana hungry as it was. Tyr. He's going to be like Uller or Hell now. You can change stance at level 1 with him. It's not going to provide you the passive benefits, but you can still change stance. So early aggression Tyr could come in. You could combo them and then switch and then hit another cleave, hit another charge, whatever you have first. So yeah, you can now switch stances at level 1 with Tyr. That is all for the patch, guys. Like I said, the patch notes are in the description where you can look at the card art yourself, read it yourself if you want to. That's going to wrap up the video, guys. If you enjoyed it, be sure to hit the like button, subscribe if you would. Social media links are in the description, including Twitch, which I try to stream on often. I've been getting a lot busy lately, and I haven't been doing it as much, but I'm getting there. And yeah, I missed last month's patch notes a couple weeks ago whenever it came out because they didn't release the patch notes until a day later, and I just figured it really wasn't worth it. But I did this one, especially since this is such a big patch. I want to get this out right away, so hopefully it's out fairly reasonable time. So again, thank you guys so much for the support, and I'll see you again soon.